Hello everyone and welcome to our We Meet at Digital Days. My name is Eleni Stark and I will moderate this presentation. We are very pleased that you took the time to participate in our presentation and virtual conference today. The topic of this presentation is how can advanced technologies push a sustainable future of production? Our speaker is Christoph Völcker. He will hold the presentation and also will answer your questions afterwards. Before we start with the presentation itself, I would like to point out one thing. You are muted during the presentation. This means that you cannot ask us questions via microphone during the presentation. Nevertheless, you have always the opportunity to ask us all your questions during the presentation via our chat function. You'll find the chat function in the webinar control panel. The presentation will be about 30 minutes long. The chat questions will then be answered in a Q&A session following the webinar. There are 5 to 10 minutes in addition scheduled for this. If we are unable to answer all your questions within this time, we will answer them via email afterwards. If you still have any other questions left, just mail us at exhibition@we-online.com. We will try to answer all questions promptly. At the end of the presentation, you'll be asked to participate in a feedback survey. We would be very pleased if you take the time to fill out the survey and help us to improve our webinars and our events. You will receive the link to the presentation within the next few days. The recording will be available at our website shortly. Now I will hand over to our speaker Christoph and I wish you an exciting presentation.
Thanks a lot. So welcome back after a short break, and I hope you are not too tired as I am. I always need kind of a coffee, which is kind of a very, very old traditional drink to get, but we changed the way of drinking coffee in terms of technology. So this is like the way I want to start my presentation for today's talk. How can advanced technologies push a sustainable future of production? And therefore, I want to show you shortly an agenda, which topics we're going to focus today. Let's talk about sustainability itself. So it's about a big picture, and we want to downscale it to technologies and to electronic devices later on. We want to talk about advanced technologies. What is it? What do you think is advanced technology in your mind? Advanced technologies, is it a key role for sustainability? Let's talk about that. And then we want to come over to transfer into Würth Elektroniks. How do we do it? So I'm team leader for the Innovation Lab of Advanced Technologies, and I want to show you how we work on innovation topics and how we do the transfer in this, and which are the challenges and what is the roadmap to think about. Let's start. Sustainability. Sustainability, as I mentioned already, is a mega trend, but not marketing-wise. It's a real huge topic. If you look at this, it is multi-layered. So we can talk about sustainability in the way of ecological, economical, and social topics. And if you go in a deep dive for that, we will have macro trends. So last year, we had the Green Deal assignment and everything, and we are focusing circular economy. Those are the buzzwords, the macro trends, so to say, clean tech and Nutrient. So those are the topics we really have to be keen on in the way of sustainability. And if you go even deeper in that case, there are the micro trends. And the micro trends is all about marketing, technology, product and services. So these topics are the micro trends from the bottom up, macro trends and the mega trend to actually really support sustainability and get the better knowledge of what we are going to produce in future and make a responsible manufacturing. And therefore, as I'm employed here and we have a PowerPoint so we can turn it, I want to focus technology. And now it comes already to the point that I do hope that you are awake enough that you can help me out. What is up in your mind if it comes to advanced technologies? So please feel free and use your mobile with the internet, scan this QR code and then you will be lead to the topic advanced technologies, where you can type in some buzzwords you have in your mind. Advanced technologies, what does it mean to you? I hope it works already, so I will swap from this side to this side. I hope you can see it, and this should be open already. So if we have some people who are interested in working, you will type in your words and it will rise here. Yes, 3D Druck, in German, 3D printing. So I will leave this open for about 1 minute that we can see what is in your mind. Whatever comes up to your mind, feel free to type in. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing totally right. It's totally interdisciplinary if we are talking about advanced technologies. Yeah, there are coming up buzzwords like future, flexibility, game changer, print multiplayer PCBs. That's a good one. Horticulture. There had been some people already interested in digital days. E-mobility. So maybe we wait for a few seconds more. I give you 10 seconds still that you can still type something in, and then we keep on talking about it. Okay, good. Nothing more, so I will close that one. Okay, thanks a lot. So buzzwords like additive design, additive manufacturing, horticulture, 3D printing, flexibility, future, those are all buzzwords who belong to advanced technologies, and they are in different fields. You're talking slightly about technology, processes, about the like laser, like techniques itself. IoT is a digital one, which totally belongs to it. E-mobility, let's call it, is like an application. Horticulture is kind of an application where we can use it. But all together, it needs to be work togetherly in that case. So I will change my presentation again and coming back to those ones. You can see my presentation running, I guess. So here was the QR code. And that's now the question. Can advanced technologies like the buzzwords you just told, can they be a key player, a key role for sustainability? We had a look on the sustainability itself. And if you have a look to advanced technologies and sustainability, buzzwords rise like lowering total costs, production on demand, digital storage, local production. So normally you can delocate your production in that case, less waste of material. You only use material in terms of additive manufacturing in 3D printing, which you are supposed to use. Reduced logistics. So all those topics come up quite easily and quickly if you talk about sustainability pushed by advanced technologies. So I would say, yes, it is a must to use advanced technologies. It's calculating the presentation. We will see if yes. So it is a must with innovations in advanced technologies that we can push sustainability. And it's not only because of the Green Deal, we really need to do so. If we start producing and manufacturing, we should really think about responsible manufacturing, which was not always the very first topic in the last 100 years, to be honest. So nowadays, we're talking about those new technologies rising, and we have to be responsible in that. How do we do that? So as I introduced myself at the beginning, I'm responsible for the Innovation Lab Advanced Technologies at Würth Elektronik. What is the way, how do we focus that? If it comes to electronics, it's always quite a huge challenge to use new technologies in that case, because electronics itself enables to produce applications which are really focusing the future itself. And nowadays, all those topics like e-mobility, IoT and everything, they are powered by electronics. So we are focusing to dimensions or strategies, two ways actually. One is the operative way. You can imagine we are there in Würth Elektronik, which is a very, very huge established company with established processes, and 3D printing is therefore, let's say, only a few years coming into the industrial situation in the industry that we really take the chance and to use it. So it is quite hard, firstly, to implement those kind of technologies. And one way is the operative way. So here you see a design study from a connector we have in our portfolio, and we tried actually really to make a proof of concept to copy the one. And this one you can see here is 3D printed and plugged in together with the metal pins. On the right-hand side, there you can see a USB stick, which is totally 3D printed. Even the PCB inside, the components are done by pick and place, but no one touched it at all. So, and it's functional. So in that case, it is all about production in future with new technologies. But how do we do a transfer of innovation? The transfer of innovation of all the ideas we are creating in the innovation lab is a must, as the transfer is always focusing the company's mission, vision. So we want to be sustainable in future. We have to be in the manufacturing method. And if we get all those new research and new innovations, how can we put it into transfer that we can use it in an industrial way? And therefore, we have kind of a creative design thinking method in our team, and we call it create and innovate. And we do it in different versions. One is we do a lot of research and development, and there we have internal projects and public consortial projects which are funded, and we get our knowledge together in networks with different parties in consortial projects. But not only that one, we do as well operative innovation, and those are projects which are driven by proof of concept. So we support, for example, Hyperloop teams in Europe, and therefore we can test and get together with the student teams and really test new products, test new technologies, thinking about, in that case, for example, heat transfer management, and we try to create with new technologies printable heat transfer management to get to a better performance in this. And the transfer within the company is very, very important. So as you can imagine, you see in the digital days, we have lots of different departments. You get your knowledge from, your speaks from, and all those departments we have to bring together. So if there is a project like Hyperloop, for example, or any kind of innovation project we are working on, we are bringing together the teams and change the responsibility in the lead. So it's not always us in the lead, but we really see who is responsible now in which kind of work package in the projects. This will start a transfer of those innovative projects to have later on several people involved, and then they can take over to get the project of innovation into a transfer management into real products. And one further really good point is it's all about network and collaboration. I want to introduce you shortly one topic. We are keen on working together with startups, but as well with institutions and industry. And we want to bring them together in a very nice concept we started just lately, and we call it EDA. For those ones who are in Germany based, they maybe can understand the short word of EDA. It's normally spelled with an H in the middle. EDA, this is something like, hey, we have everything already there, and just let's sit together. It's kind of an internal open innovation concept, and therefore we work together in the Würth Elektronik group that we focus wearables and textiles. We bring together with our knowledge in technology in electronics, and we do focus the market and will situate startups to really consult them and work on their applications, on their innovations to push it forward. We bring them together in one of our research innovation centers, that's called RIC, and work together with them there. So which are actually the challenges to solve? we are talking about future innovative projects and everything. But if we're talking about advanced technologies, we have a huge point of established processes. And those processes use already established technologies. And therefore, to implement the advanced technologies, they don't have to disrupt that. That's totally marketing topics. This is not like it is. To make it wisely, we have to implement advanced technologies at that point where it is needed. And there are some chances where they really interact and where we can say, let's bring them into one line. But therefore, to use those chances or to really push those chances, we have to work on standards. Established processes have their standards. Advanced technologies, not at the same stage, but maybe they don't fit to the standards which are written already. So maybe we have to work on those. We do so. We have to work on software and data. If you work on software, which you had always, because it was always the same software we've been using, this software and those data to create are mainly not working with the software we are used to. For example, some data, some software are cloud-based already, and all the big data software companies based internationally normally use those cloud-based softwares, but those are creating data with AI driven, with algorithms and everything. We can't start from the very beginning to draw our data. So we have to make those steps and be open for that. Therefore, we need to think about automated processing in advanced technologies. So it's not only the established industry you have to make the steps towards advanced technologies, but as well the advanced technologies, for example, 3D printing has really to work on. There's not a 3D printer, buy it, use it, done. It's not. I'm there in that business for 3D printing for about something more than 20 something years. So, and the main challenge or the main mistake that the 3D printing industry is actually doing is they sell printers and they don't really implement them into established processes. And therefore you have to think about, okay, how is it in the industry? If we want to sell a product out of that, how do we get it done? Not only produced, but the serial number in between. How do we get it into our system working maybe with SAP or whatever? So those those processes have to really shake hands and come together. There are some good companies in the industrial printing who are working on those. So very keen on that. And furthermore, it's about development from industrial materials and materials which are existing in advanced technologies that they perform to meet actually the standards which we need to do. Otherwise, we can't sell. Otherwise, we can't use new produced products on that. And that one maybe is the absolutely main. It needs courage. And it needs courage from the company itself, who is taking care of that future. And if it's sustainability, if it's production, if it's trading, if it's whatever. So the purpose, why you are there in the company, this to implement advanced technology, to go forward, to really push that you know your business will be there in the next decade as well, you have to be courage. And this is actually shout out on that one to Würth Elektronik. I'm really happy to work for that kind of company. There is this courage and they really want to use this. A roadmap. From all the experience we have, so maybe I can shortly tell a few words about that. I was in the 3D printing industry for those 20-something years. Well, I studied actually interior architecture, product design, and those kind of things. So we had been kind of a first mover in using creatively 3D printing and new technologies. Therefore, I was working in different companies for R&D, like consortial projects and everything. So since the last 3 or almost 4 years, I've been working in the really manufacturing industry for Würth Elektronik and as well with Challenge Electronics. I actually noticed that this is still something kind of the beginning to really use advanced technologies for the producing industry. And therefore, I tried to create a little roadmap with some buzzwords again to show you there are different topics where you need to consider that you really can do this. One of those is generate knowledge. So if you don't know something about it, it's not only about getting an employee, tell him do that or whatever. You really have to go out, listen to the people, go to conferences like you did here with the digital days, or actually do. Try to generate knowledge, get responsible people to really push those topics, and they should actually set up a team that they really try to think about how the implementation is. And it doesn't stop. So therefore, always stay curious and be innovative. Everyone wants to be innovative, and somehow in Germany, in Europe, we always think, or actually how we do innovate is more the Japanese way. So we actually repeat and do it always a little bit better. This is absolutely perfect what we are doing. But if it comes to advanced technologies, somehow they might think or try to be disruptive, and they want to disrupt the whole processes in that case. But this is like a totally different way of thinking in an innovative way. We don't need to disrupt the producing industry, but we have to implement them and come together. So stay curious. Don't say no, because we never did it like this. We did it always the last decades and 100 years the other way around. Be open to introduce advanced technologies to your team. And to the team, think about create interdisciplinary teams. So don't focus one head of advanced technologies or whatever, and this guy or woman should do it by himself. No, try to interact within the company with the people from outside, get them all together. And then you can start with proof of concept projects. Maybe not with the very first focus, we have to sell that one. You should start to make it a proof of concept that you can actually have a look on your existing projects and try to do it the other way around with new technologies to state where you can still improve, where are still gaps, or where you perform already quite good. And therefore, with this roadmap, you will easily focus and make the transfer in that way. So it's nothing. So actually, to be honest, if I work in consortial projects, it's very quite fine. But I'm always, for those one who work with me, know that I'm always focusing. But this needs to be usable later on, that we have not only a project to show something is lighting up or whatever, and wow, it's 3D printed. No, we have to think about how to use it, how to sell it at the end. Otherwise, there is just R&D and it will land somewhere in the drawer, will be hidden, and no one will see it anymore. So think about that one. And furthermore, do it and push the boundaries in that. This is something, yes, established industries have their boundaries, but somehow you can always play with them, or you can even try to push them a little bit. The most best tip I can give is accept small steps, but they should be wise. So don't go there. So I do know that from my life before. When I was a little bit younger, I was always like pushing, and this is just the best, and we need to do this, and we need to do this and this, otherwise we fail. No, we have to accept small steps, but those small steps have to be taken very wisely. For example, coming back to the end to the presentation, I want to come back to join the advanced technologies, the experience we have in the industry for responsible manufacturing. If we implement advanced technologies into electronics, what does it mean in terms of sustainability? If we create everything together and we package everything in small parts together, as you can see the picture we did, then you create electronic waste. And electronic waste has nothing to do with sustainability. So please, absolutely please think about, do it wisely, and think about by heart as well for a sustainable future, how to recycle electronical packages, electronical devices, applications, and the components itself. And if you start to use advanced technologies, which I hope you will do so and think about that, really think wisely in that case that you have from the very beginning with all the buzzwords we have, circular economy, AM design driven sustainability and everything. Think about all those topics. And if you have any questions on those points, feel free to get in touch with me. And I say aloud, merci. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for listening. And I want to finish my presentation with those sheets. So I'm happy to answer any questions. We had been likely quick now, but I think there had been lots of topics. I hope that you're not totally wasted in that case and that you have some questions at the end. Otherwise, I can answer them later on.
Thank you very much, Christoph, for this interesting presentation. It was a pleasure to continue listening. Like you said already, now I would like to turn our attention to the questions that had already come in via our chat function. And I will just check the first question. Yeah, it's about something that you said in the beginning about our multi-layered sustainability. The question itself is, what about the social point of view if advanced technologies will replace employees?
Actually, no. This is a fear which I can totally understand because something new is always on a social side, and on a human side, a fear, something new, oh, I don't know if we can have it. And in a social way, social sustainability is one of the most important things. Therefore, advanced technologies doesn't disrupt. They need to be implemented and wisely, and therefore the social meaning for sustainability with new technologies as well with digital technologies like AI and everything will afford actually to implement the people, the society to go hand in hand with this. So advanced technologies won't disrupt the social sustainability in that case. I hope I could answer that question.
Yeah, thanks for this opinion. So let's come to our next question. How long will it probably take for the established industry to implement advanced technologies?
Well, that's a good question. Thanks. I think it's really up to the business cases you're focusing. It will take several years, definitely for sure. And even if it comes to established companies for electronic devices, the development is not as quick as, for example, internet. Like in that case, an internet is there for several decades already, and how we use it today is not the way we used it at the beginning. So, and coming to the manufacturing, we have all those challenges which I named, like the standards and everything. So, and the development in materials. So I would say in the last 5 to 8 years, the advanced technologies made huge steps towards established industries, or for example, more to bring really real applications to the market. So it is on the way and it's starting slowly. I would suggest it will lead us maybe to 3 to 5 years that we really can shout out, wow, this is done perfectly implemented advanced technologies, and the latest products will show that, but maybe not only that you can see a 3D printed electronic device. No, I'm pretty sure it needs to be produced in a hybrid way. So just there where advanced technologies is needed or where does it make sense, you use it. So a hybrid production will be the first steps, and therefore we will need maybe 3 to 5 years.
Good. Thank you very much. Let's skip already to the next question. How do you manage to find experts in your team to get this forward promising strategy done?
Yeah,
Not that easy
well,
to answer.
well, maybe the thing is, yes, it is about focusing the future. Focusing the future needs to have people in different topics. So as I mentioned, we are focusing materials, development of materials. We are focusing development of technologies and established technologies and bring them together. So I love working interdisciplinary, and not only interdisciplinary, but diverse. So, and diverse in that kind is different knowledge, different well, different countries, different gender, different people. So have different point of views if you want to create a sustainable future for electronics. So yes, how to find employees in that case is mainly about network. So as we are there in those topics and working together with different consortia, with different universities, and actually really like from Israel to the US, everywhere, if it comes to new employees, we shout out and try to try to search them within our networks.
Thank you. So for now, we have one last question left. How do you see the process of standardization and certification? For example, UL for 3D printed products.
Sorry, the last one for 3D printed products.
Yeah, for 3D printed products.
Yeah. So first of all, standards are actually kind of, let's call it, companies who want to push it, and because they want to standardize new technologies, new products always. So the most easiest way is you have a proof of concept, you make your transfer to the project itself, and then it's like, well, I studied architecture like an architect. You bring every one of those topics you're focusing to a table quite early, and as well some people from standards, and therefore you can ask them to bring their topics inside this discussion, and you have to implement as well standardization. And for example, you don't have to write for the very beginning for proof of concept the real standards. You can write specs, like specific standards in this application, and therefore you can make again your small steps and create it, and later on you can scale it. So bring them all together to one table, not only the material developer, but as well people who are writing the standards.
Thank you very much, Christoph. Now there was still one question coming in. What are the most interesting POCs that turned into the industrial applications? Is printed USB stick still a POC?
I didn't get it totally. Can you please repeat it? I don't know if it's the
Yeah, of
connection.
course. What are the most interesting POCs that turned into the industrial applications? And is a printed USB stick still a POC?
Well, maybe it is kind of a POC in that case, but in terms of applications, it's always, let's say, the proof of concept piece of a USB stick shows the process that we can print a dielectricum and we can print an electricum and pick and place automatically the components inside in a three-dimensional product. So the USB stick is just a proof of concept to make awareness, to show it, because every one of us used a USB stick so far. So everyone can understand. Everyone can understand that a USB stick needs to work. So the function is quite easy, and if it's lightened up, it's still good. What we do with this proof of concept is we create the process, the technology, and the materials. And later on, we can think about if this is done perfectly, we can transfer it to our applications like modules and different topics. Because if you implement some components which lead you to a lightened up USB stick, you can even implement Bluetooth or whatever products. You can implement power inductors, caps. It doesn't matter. Pick and place system combined with 3D printing of different materials would be the way to produce hybrid objects at the end.
Okay, thanks a lot for this answer as well. Now this was really our last question.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, if you still have any questions left, don't hesitate, just email us, for example, via exhibition@we-online.com, or also at your email address, christoph.völcker@we-online.com or de. I think both is working. Yeah. Now we are finished already with our presentation. Thank you very much once again, Christoph, or merci beaucoup, like you said. At the end now, I just want to turn your attention to our next presentation, which will start in half an hour or 25 minutes already, where it's going to be about single pair Ethernet with signal transformers, a completely different presentation and topic, but interesting anyway. So yeah, we would like to see you as our participants also there. And I hope you enjoyed the presentation now and hope to see you again. Bye, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.